the Uniparty is trying to do everything that they can to stop my candidacy, to rig the election in Colorado. And, this is breaking news as of yesterday. Ken Buck's announcement yesterday was a gift to the Uniparty. The establishment concocted a swampy backroom deal to try to rig an election that I'm winning by 25 points, forcing an unnecessary special election when the same day as the primary election in Colorado. And this will confuse voters, and it will result in a lame duck congressman on day one and leave the 4th district with no representation for more than 3 months. This is absolutely unacceptable. I believe that this is selfish.
Over in Colorado, things are shaking up just months before the 2024 election. District 4 Representative Ken Buck was set to retire by the end of his term, therefore leaving his congressional seat up for grabs. However, in a fun twist, Ken Buck has just announced, without even giving the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, much of a heads up, that he would actually be stepping down next week.
I was surprised by Ken's announcement. I'm looking forward to talking with him about that.
Any comment about Trump not supporting his TikTok?
This place just keeps going downhill, and I don't need to spend my time here. We've taken impeachment and we've made it a social media issue as opposed to a constitutional concept. Mike Johnson's ability to talk me into staying here is going to be about as successful as his ability into talking me into unconstitutional impeachments.
As we know, Lauren Boebert is currently in the running to replace Buck after she left her own district where she was expected to lose her re-election bid. But before we talk about her, Ken Buck's surprise early retirement feels like the worst case of senioritis. Or maybe it's more like when you put in your 2 weeks notice at a job that you've been working at for 10 years, but those last 2 weeks are so tedious and insufferable that you don't even make it through. It's like you've already checked out emotionally and mentally, so you're no longer working towards anything, you're no longer invested in the future of the company or the people you work with, so why are you still waking up at 6 o'clock every morning, sitting in traffic and showing up to a cubicle? And Ken Buck had some choice words for the congressional institution and the Republican Party when he was asked to explain why he was ducking out early. He said, quote, "This place just keeps going downhill and I don't need to spend my time here." That sounds like a guy who's been around the block a few times, and on his 5th go-round, the block is looking worse than he's ever seen it. Ken Buck has been serving in Congress since 2014, and while that was only 10 years ago, the world was a very different place back then, and the state of American politics was very different back then. Obama was still the president, but the Trump effect hadn't really taken its hold on the Republican Party as yet. It makes sense that a longtime Republican wouldn't be on board with the recent direction the party has taken, but still, few Republicans have removed themselves from their political positions the way that Buck has. So what does this mean for our friend Lauren Boebert? Well, first, she's already not very popular in her new district.
Number 1, Jerry Sonnenberg got 22 votes. Number 2, Mike Lynch with 20 votes. Number 3, Deborah Flora with 18 votes. Number 4, Richard Holtorf with 17 votes. Number 5, Lauren Boebert with 12 votes.
Second, Colorado law does not allow a vacant seat in Congress more than 90 days before a general election, so now they've got to do a special election to fill that vacancy. For Boebert, that means she can now do one of two things. She can continue doing what she's doing and hope to win first the Colorado primary in June and then the general election in November. Or she could try to win the special election. Should she pursue the latter option, however, she would have to give up her current congressional seat, which would create a second congressional vacancy in Colorado, leading to a second special election, and in the end, she could end up with no seat at all. Now, it's likely that that was always going to be the endgame for Boebert, but this would certainly move things along a bit quicker. According to Republican Representative Adam Kinzinger, quote, "By resigning early, Ken Buck is giving an advantage to anyone but Lauren Boebert. She cannot run in the special election since she already occupies the seat, so another person will be elected to serve out the term, and it won't be Lauren. Smart." At this point, the only thing Boebert really has working in her favor is the fact that she is an incumbent congressperson. Incumbents are always far more likely to win re-election campaigns, but that trend was barely enough to push Boebert through to Congress in her last re-election bid. This go around, her odds are even worse than they were 2 years ago. But if we've learned anything from watching the political machinations of the modern era, we know that nothing is guaranteed and anything can happen. Ken Buck just did well to remind us all of that. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my podcast, Modern Context. Thanks.